you to this particular story, which you should be concerned about. Now, the northern, Ashanti, and central regions are said to be the areas with most of the 3 million unregistered gun and other arms circulating in Ghana. Now, the National Commission for Small Arms and Light Weapons is demanding legislative reviews that gives it more power over gun and other weapon control in the country. At the moment, the Commission can only offer unbinding advice to other state institutions, but the new board chairman, Reverend Dr. Paul Frempong-Manso, says that must change with immediacy if the Commission is to achieve its aim of reducing, if not eliminating, guns and other arms in wrong hands. I have been chatting with him. My special guest for today is Reverend Dr. Paul Frempong-Manso. He is board chairman of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons. We're going to find out from him what are the practical steps we're taking to deal with arms in the wrong hands. Doctor, thank you very much for your time here on the show.
Thank you.
Let me start by asking you, congratulating you, and also asking you what you think are your core competences, for which reason you've been chosen to be on the board of the Small Arms and Light Weapons Commission.
Thank you very much. I want to send my greetings to Ghanaians and especially the cherished listeners of our Joy Television. I also want to thank the President for appointing me and my colleagues to work as a team to see the menace of these weapons being controlled. If I want to say some few competencies, I'll normally say that 3 are the key ones. Character. If you want to get somebody to lead something, the person should have a character, a man of integrity, where you can trust him. And I believe that for pastoring in this country over 35 years, rising to the level of general superintendent, I think the President and his Council of States have seen the kind of character and the kind of leadership that I can give. 2, I'll talk about competencies. If you want to be a leader or guiding any board, and by the grace of God, I have chaired and lead quite a number of boards, which I will not want to mention. But then, almost wherever I have served, just like Joseph, there has been success. And I believe that we are going to lift this Small Arms Commission high because God is going to be with us. And last but not the least, connection or networking. These days, if you can lead any institution, you must have high networks. And God has given me that desire. I mean, I think it's a grace and favor. Wherever I go, I'm able to link up with people like the media, people in politics, people in civil societies, people in banking, the diplomatic institutions. So what I'm bringing on board is a leadership with integrity and character, leadership with that kind of competencies who will move this organization to another level, and a leadership who is well connected globally to make this commission known and seen. I've always seen this commission as an appendix to the Interior Ministry. We know of more of the prison, we know more of the fire, we know more of the immigration, the customs until recently, before it was moved to the Ghana Revenue Authority. But this commission is really not known. So we are going to put it on a higher pedestal for Ghanaians to appreciate the importance of this commission.
Okay, well, that sounds like the very broad picture. Yeah. But if we were to narrow it down, what would you say that your connection? I can understand the integrity and the character, because if you're going to put people in charge of arms, then you've got to have someone of character. But when we talk about the connection that you say you have, how is that going to help you? I mean, what do you foresee how do you foresee that helping you to deal with the problem of small arms in wrong hands?
A good person who is connected is also a team builder, because this commission, as you may know, we have the military, we have the police, we have the Attorney General Department, Foreign Affairs Department, civil societies, national security. So many people coming from different angles. And a person who have got that connection is able to bring people together. And also, when we talk about arms, we are not dealing with Ghana alone. West Africa, Africa, and globally. Okay. So this commission has got international links. And we will need all these stakeholders, even in Ghana, the chiefs, the churches, civil societies, the media, and all these people. You need somebody who can bring all of them together to have a common vision to push the agenda forward.
Okay, now let's deal with the issues that you are going to be dealing with in your tenure of office. Let's start with arms in circulation. According to the UN, there's about 3 million arms in circulation in Ghana. What statistics, what information does the Commission have about where they could possibly be?
The Commission did a survey in 2004. I think Dr. Kwesieni did it with his team. And we realized that we have over 2,000 arms in some hands we do not know. Out of these arms, most of them might have been locally manufactured, and some of them might have got into the country in wrong hands. And data on this is a problem. As I speak, the statistics show that 39% of these arms are in the northern region alone, about 19% in Ashanti region. Central region has got the lowest, about 8%. You see how much harm they can cause. And we don't know those who are holding it, and we don't know what they are using it for. Sometimes we may hear of armed robbery, these Galamsey people, and even what happened in Kolebu 3 days ago or recently. The arms are in the wrong people. We don't have the data, and it makes the lives of Ghanaians very, very, very insecure.
One thing that we do very well in this country is that we know the problem, and we always talk about the problem. What we seem to be lacking, by the way, is solving the problem, solution to the problem, the plan that is going to lead us to solve that problem. You've just told me about the problem, which I'm sure the people you're working with have told you over and over again since you started work. There must have been a plan by now. Thank
you very much. Before I'll even tackle that, in Ghana, we keep on establishing institutions, and they are very weak, and we want them to deliver. No wonder we have Yoko, it's not working, SFO is not working, Chirac is not working, and we are adding. To tell you, the Small Arms Commission has got a lot of plans, but unless there's goodwill from the government and the stakeholders to make us work, we won't. I think the first thing my team have thought about is that we need to rebrand the whole Small Arms Commission. You have seen our office, where we are located. It's like we are perching. So we are asking that the powers that be, the presidency, and of course the Ministry of Interior, will acknowledge the importance of this commission, relocate us to a better office as soon as practicable, give us the resources that we need, and we will deliver. In planning, there are two things. First, preventive and curative. Preventive is that we should first get a process whereby we block all the avenues of illegal weapons. Some of these things I may not be able to share on the television, but I know that our borders are porous. The way people bring in arms are very difficult, and in Ghana too, these locally manufactured weapons are infiltrating in the system. So we should first make sure that right people bring in arms, and those who bring them, register them, and they're in the right hands.
Okay, so I'm going to, sorry to cut you there, but I'm going to delve a bit deeper into the protocols of arm transiting, arm importation, and who owns what in this country. But you spoke about rebranding the commission. If you want to do the work, why don't you just do the work? Is a rebranding drive, which is going to cost us some money, necessary?
No, rebranding means, you know, people have got an impression or a picture about the commission. It is there by name. It is toothless. It is this. It is that. So we have to come out for people to see that we are not like that. Well, there will be money involved, but not that much money. You know, in the world, if you want to do anything new, there are three things that we need. First, vision, the desire to work, and then the money flow.
What exactly do you want to change? What perception? Exactly what perception do you want to change?
The perception is that people don't see us to be active. We only call upon when there's after elections and there are crises, if there's a problem in Konya or Alabanyo, if there's problem in Bumpurugu or whatever, then, oh, Small Arms Commission, come and speak, come and, do something. But it's bad leadership. You don't wait for something to come. That's reactive leadership. We want to be proactive institution, proactive commission.
By doing what exactly?
Getting ourselves known, educating people, setting things in place to make sure that the crisis do not even come. When you asked me the question, I said that there were two things that we were going to do. And the first one was preventive. That is where we make sure that the armed proliferation and these things don't become rampant. I'm
particularly interested in preventive measures. Please take us through the preventive measures.
Yes. Even the Bible says, train up a child the way they should go, and when they grow, they will not depart from it. We wait for problems to come before we educate. So our preventive approach is to teach Ghanaians, men, women, children, and all those involved what arms are for, who are supposed to handle arms, and what are the times and the periods that arms will be needed. Talking about arms, they are good if they are using in the right way to defend and protect the people. So the preventive measures, training, educating, encouraging people like your outfit, even this news is part of a preventive measure. We should tell people the dangers of arms. And like I said, their proliferation, we should not allow them to come in before we say, go and register your arms. If you have them, there's amnesty and the rest. But
in this country, I mean, whether people should know, at this point, people should know the dangers of arms. But the problem perhaps will be our inability to regulate the regime. So perhaps the plan should rather be focusing on how to prevent the arms from getting into the wrong hands.
That is the second part I'm going to talk about. We need everybody. Those who possess the arms have got friends, they have got relatives, they've got people who send them the arms. In Ghana, nobody will want to report anybody unless there's a crisis. Some wives are staying with their husbands, and they know that these husbands are having weapons hidden under their bed, and they will not talk until one day when the man becomes angry and use it to do something dangerous, then we say that somebody has murdered the wife. Why will not the wife get a tip-off or find a way for us getting the weapon out? And people who have been put in place to work, they should work before they are paid. So if people are there to control arms, are they working? What about the regulations for people to get arms? Have we make it cheap? I know if you want to drive a car, you have to go to driving school, pass your exam before you can drive on a road. Most of the accidents come because people pay some money to get driving license.
Is arms registration, the arms registration regime, is it a part of your core mandate?
Our core mandate is to advise the government. That means advise the Interior Ministry or advise the police. So if things were to work properly, Mr. A and B want to buy a gun, or Mr. C, we have got the experts who know some of this. And so they do not do the registration, but the application should be referred to them.
To study and then advise.
They will study and advise the type of gun, the type of person who's going to use it, and is it safe for himself or is it even safe for the family? This commission, we have military people, experts, colonels and major generals. We have police, COPs. We have all the top people who are technically competent to advise.
I see. So if we have all of these people on the board, why is it that we still have a problem with people having arms when they shouldn't be having?
Because they are neglected. In fact, normally my executive secretary will be told that this thing has been applied for and it has been approved. So it's normally, they normally tell him what is happening when it has already been done. And these are some of the things that we will want to change.
I see. But that sounds very bad. Because if you are supposed to advise, you are only told, your views are not taken. That's a problem that the commission has had. Is it since when?
That is what have been. I was appointed by the president this year, and the commission. That is from the staff. They can tell you when, but that is what is happening, which is very, very unfortunate, and we want to change that. If we study the act, the commission has got a power, very, very good strength. If we are made to work, Ghana will be safer and securer. In some other countries, they are working very far. In Ghana, paperwork excellent. But the practicality is a problem.
That's something that we know. But since we're talking about the problem, you're here for the solution, which is why we're here. We're here to hear what plans you have to solve the problem. Let's look at the armed registration regime. Apart from your men advising the ministry, what new things are you introducing? What new things are you looking at doing that will regulate properly the registration regime? Do we even know how many people or who have guns in this country?
That is the problem. I told you that we do not know. Let me tell you one thing about me. I or Yao, if you use the word you, unless it is you plural.
Yes, as the commission, which is leading.
I'm a team. Well, as a team, we have only done our first meeting. And in our meeting, we rather delve into the problems. So we are going to meet together to work out the solutions. So I do not want to jump the gun to tell you that we are going to do A, B, C, and D. And the first thing that we wanted to do was to rebrand the commission. Two, for people even to know that we exist, and then possibly interact with our major stakeholders, including the executives, and then the Ministry of Interior, and all the agencies, and then of course the general public to see our existence, and then the media also. So when you exist and people know what you are doing, possibly we will want the media to talk about our existence, the act that established the commission, and what we are supposed to do, so that they can even hold us accountable. I tell you, many people, many Ghanaians are even ignorant about our existence. They are very ignorant about what we do. So
and this presents a very nice opportunity for you to be able to advise Ghanaians on the registration protocol, or owning. What are the protocols that you need to observe if you want to own a gun?
Now, all that I will say is that if they are only registered companies, you need to be registered as a company before you can even import guns to this country. And that when that registration is done, the people who also want to buy guns...
Who do you register with?
I think it's the police now.
You register with the police as a company?
As a company.
That is if you want to buy guns.
Police and the Ministry of Interior.
Import guns?
Yes.
Okay.
And they will give you license and clear you before you can even become a gun importer.
Okay, then so that's for the importers. For individuals like me, I mean, we're seeing a lot of armed robbery cases. If I want to be protected and I want to own a gun, what are the steps that I need to take?
I think you may have to go to a registered company to buy a gun. And then if you go there, they will take you through some exercise to know that you are mentally sound, you are stable, and the reason why you are buying the gun is allowed. You don't go and buy a gun because armed robbers come to you. Why don't you report to the police so that they will provide patrol? I mean, we don't
even want to go into that conversation because we know about the processes that you have to go through. And I as a journalist, we have seen a lot of stories told about people being robbed at gunpoint, calling the police, and the police returning when the robbery is done, and the police doing actually nothing. So that is really not something people want to hear at the moment. People want to hear that they are safe. And if they're not safe, how they can protect themselves. Now, does it mean, from your answer, that the Small Arms Commission doesn't really have any role to play when it comes to registering of people who own guns?
We should have handled it
But you don't.
We don't. So what happens is that people normally acquire the guns before it is reported to us. But we don't have much to do with it. That is one of the things that we think the law that governs the whole commission and system need to be changed or need to be reviewed. It's just like the Mineral Commission and all these mining processes. You see, the Mineral Commission has now got authority to have an input before somebody can acquire a license to go and mine. Before then, it was not so. You know, this commission was set up a few years ago, I think around 2007, and then the processes. So before they were set up, Interior, the police and others were doing their job. So when they came in, those who are doing this job earlier have not given us the opportunity to do what we have to do. Okay. So, but it's like a symbiotic relationship. This institution should have a symbiotic relationship with the police, the military, the customs, and all these things. Okay. There should be a round table, you know, discussions. Okay. Trust. There should be.
People have said that roundtable discussions and all of those things usually are a waste of time, because not just do they waste time, they make us spend a lot of money as well. So we spend a lot of money, put people together, they talk and talk and talk. It's like we know the solutions to the problems, but we're just not doing it. So you bring in people to talk about it, will just compound the problem. They come talk about it, at the end of the day, it stays on the shelves. So perhaps people are looking forward to a different approach to dealing with the problem. But let me find out from you, sir, about transit and movement of arms. Is that also a part of your mandate?
It is part, but we collaborate.
As in it happens and you are told.
Yeah. But, you know, this commission more is like advisory body with some powers. So we are there to give counseling, to help. You know, so the Immigration Department has got a part to play. The Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs has got a part to play. All of them have got representatives on the board. Attorney General Department has got a part to play. So our role is more of advocacy. Advocacy.
So it appears you have no power, really.
But
you don't have power.
We have some powers, but I will not say we are not autonomy. Neither do we have.
You're not autonomous, so you can only advise, basically.
In some areas.
And the advice is not binding on the people you advise. They can either take or leave it.
That is how it has operated in Ghana, but that is wrong.
So you want it to change?
Yeah, when you talk about arms and the dangers and what it can cause, and if you read the genesis of this commission, once upon a time, there wasn't even that commission.
Okay.
So they have seen the importance, and now as I speak to you, most of the countries, their commission has got more power than that of Ghana.
Which is something that your leadership...
If you go to Ivory Coast, if you go to even Sierra Leone, if you go to Nigeria and some countries, but if you go to countries like US, UK, Brazil, and the rest,
arms commissions are more powerful. And that's something, really is that something that you're hoping to achieve with your leadership at the...
Yeah, under our leadership, by the time we finish our mandate, Arms Commission will be one of the strongest commissions in the country. And when you mention Arms Commission, people will know what we do. Okay. For me, under my leadership, I don't normally like promises or making noise.
You like to under-promise and over-deliver.
So probably, if God gives us the opportunity to live again, next year you could come to this office. Definitely it will not be here.
You're hoping that it will not be here.
Yeah, it will be in a better place. Staff will be motivated. You can count on the achievements that this commission have done, and then you can see whether we are performing or not.
Okay. Well, I won't stretch it so much. You know you seem to know the problem. So what Ghanaians will be hoping is that we will find the solutions, and the solutions will be implemented, and we'll begin to feel it in our lives. Let me talk about locally manufactured arms. Like I indicated in my introduction, the minister, your sector minister, Ambrose Derry, has indicated that 90% of crime scenes, what they have seen in those places are that the arms used were locally manufactured. It tells you one thing, that there is a group of people in this country who have got the expertise to provide this kind of weapons. So why are we not tapping into their expertise? Why are we not tapping into their brains? Over the years, they've been doing this, the blacksmiths, etc. Why are we not tapping into their brains so we can regulate what they are producing?
I think when the commission meet, we will think about this and see how best we can also tap into their brains and their resources. But what I know is that the commission is trying what they call alternative livelihood. Some of the people are doing this work because they don't have something to do, or economically they are disadvantaged, and these have got a big market. So they go there to buy. So they produce these gowns and people buy them. So if we can regulate them, probably train some of them to do something else they want. And those who want to manufacture them, of course, we believe in local manufactured goods, and we are talking about made in Ghana goods.
Well, I'm not sure we do. It appears we're now trying to appreciate them,
register them, and help them to even produce quality arms.
Where are we? Where is the commission on that particular?
No, we haven't done anything of now. I will not know, since I've just taken over and I've done my first board meeting, and I'm still studying their work. And if we will go and buy arms from America, from Britain, very, very expensive, and our people can do something, and we are encouraging made in Ghana goods, why don't we regulate them? Like, we are trying to produce most of our drugs in Ghana. We are trying to produce a lot of things in Ghana, homemade, homegrown. So if we can help them, train them to even produce quality ones, but regulated, accounted for, knowing where they are going. Personally, I may not see anything wrong, but I'm speaking not as an arm expert. It will be the security people or the technocrats who may think this idea is good or bad.
I see. Well, we'll see how it goes. But it is indeed, it might sound a bit abstract from you right now if you have not come across some kind of gun attack or any form of weapon attack. But it is indeed a serious problem. We're talking to Reverend Dr. Paul Frimpong, board chairman of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons, about how we can deal with so many, about 3 million arms, we're told, that are in circulation. Let me wrap up on that particular conversation, because you wear two hats. You are you've now been appointed as board chairman of this commission, but you are also a man of God, and you're head of the Assemblies of God.
Yes.
So let's wrap up the conversation about the small arms.
Okay.
Give us 5, to end that conversation, 5 tangible things that we should measure your tenure with after you're done. What are the 5 key things that we should look out for when you're done with your tenure?
By the time we have done with our tenure, we will believe that we will have been relocated to a better place, well-resourced to deliver our mandate. That's the first one. 2, we will have proper legal regime that will make this institution more functional and more active. 3, by our tenure, Ghanaians will sleep more in peace. Guns and arms will have been well controlled. Proper data might have been kept, will have been kept, and like what happened in Kolebu and others recently will not happen. 4, we will have brought all the security agencies, because they've got their representatives together, and we will get a better hearing from the institutions, especially the government. Because my perception, I won't say I have to be, even though they appointed this commission, it is like an orphaned commission, under budgeted, under resourced, so we will have more links with the presidency, with the Ministry of Interior. We will be heard. And of course, last but not the least, and this is where we are, we will be more media friendly. If you get close with the media, they will make your existence known. So like we are with Joy Multimedia Group. I mean, one of the good groups. We will also network with all the other media institutions. We will make good international connections. We have a relationship with the UN, AU, ECOWAS. We will link up with all these institutions, all hands on board, Ghanaians, to make sure that we achieve all the four other aims I've talked about.
Well, having spoken about database, let me just quickly put in this question about digitizing the arm registration regime. This is something that we are told the IGP has embarked on. Is the commission a part of that drive, and are there any timelines that we're looking at?
I will say that anything that has to do with arms, the commission is a part. But there are two things. They either inform you before it is done and your expertise is given, or when it is done, it is reported. So I'm now going to look into it to see whether we are part in doing that, or it's going to be reported to us when it is done. But thank God, when I'm talking about the networks, I have a very good rapport with the IGP. So I'll meet him about these things and see. Even if we are not part, I will speak to him and plead that
you'll be made a part. Are you hearing it for the first time from me about the digitization of arm registration regime, that process? It seems you are. If you are hearing of it for the first time, then it's obvious that you are not a part of it.
Well, I'm saying that I have just taken over, sworn in. We have done our first meeting, and the first meeting was more like things that have happened and what we could do. So the executive secretary is the one who runs this office. When you are a chairman, you are like board, it's a governance. I'm a head of the governance team, but it is the executive secretary who will know the things on the ground.
More at the operational level.
I will know what he reports to me or what he tells me. But the IGP and all the team will deal directly with the executive secretary. Then he will report to me. So I will know much about what he will report. But I want to say that seeing him for a short time, he's been doing well. I was away for a while, and I just came in and have linked up with him, and it looks like he's doing very well. So some of these things I will want to inquire before I can give further.
Very well.